Okay, so it is now 6:02, so I call this meeting to order. If you notice, the gentlemen that are here, if you noticed, the restructuring of the committee did not get on the agenda, so we can't do that. So we will do it next time. So the main project for today is just to go over the requests we've had so we can plan on when we're going to be speaking with the appropriate people. Now, before we even start that, Dave, you, I believe, have your capital request for like the grader in particular may well be changing. Would you like to explain what's going on? And you're currently muted.
Sure. When I originally sent the paperwork to you, it was for two smaller graders. And I did some research and found out that the smaller graders don't last as long as the bigger graders, and they can't support a plow and a wing plow for the wintertime. So I did some research and found the graders that will handle that type of a load and will last a lot longer. And I did this because I had talked to our District 2, Chris Bouchard, and he suggested the bigger grader. So the numbers did change a little. And I also had I got two bids, one for Milton Cat, so it's a Cat grader, and another one is a John Deere grader. John Deere grader is a bigger grader, and it has a lot of safety features that the Cat does not have. And I'm had a very hard time explaining to the salesman, the original salesman, what I was looking for. And he put together a bid for me that was not what I was asking. Then I found out he left and went to another company. So I got another guy, and he helped me with what I was looking for, only that some of the numbers are off. So I can give you what I do have, and once I get the final numbers, I can tell you what those are. The latest one he gave me was $426,475.
And which
This is for the Cat grader.
For the Cat, okay.
Yep. That was the latest one he sent me. Okay, and they sent me it's a lease program that's available for municipal purchases. Chris had told me about this lease program. And it's a program where you pay for 5 years, and then on the 5th year, the last payment is $1. You pay $1 and you own the grader. It's a 5-year lease. And John Deere also put one together for that as well. Cat's going to give us a trade for $12,000 for the old grader. John Deere's giving us $20,000 for the old grader. The Cat numbers came out better. Actually, it was $385 for the grader. And the listing price, or the original price for that particular grader, was $700,000 or more.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and then so anyway, that's basically the gist of it. Cat is doing a monthly payment, which, if I figured the numbers out right, their numbers weren't right. So I figured out the numbers would be about $108,000 a month payment for that. And the John Deere grader came to a little over $7,000. a month. But the John Deere, the bid he gave me for the lease program was, let's see here. It was by the year, which was $85,408.91 per year. And then the final year, it's $1 and we own the grader. That's
Can
the,
you- Go ahead.
yep, that's the lease program, and that was the prices of the two graders. I still have to nail down the final price on the cat grader. For some reason, they keep changing things, and then you can't put a mid-mount scarifier if you're gonna put a front plow on a wing, because your hydraulics won't support both. So it has to be a rear mounted scarifier. So Cat put down a mid-mount scarifier and he gave me the plow prices. The mid-mount is $21,000, the mid-mount scarifier. So I don't know why he came up, whether he added it in or didn't add it in. It's not specific in here.
Okay, now, could you type all this up or so that we would have it in writing?
Yeah, I just got
I know you did, but
I just got the Cat one maybe about 2 hours ago in
I'm
an
sure.
email.
I knew you had
And
said that you hadn't had it.
the
No,
John
if you
Deere
could
I
please
got.
get it for us, so when we come to really discuss your
Mhm.
particular thing, I just wanted to bring everybody up to speed on the fact that, the numbers that you gave us on the letter are not going to be what we're going to be using. And yes,
But
I see you.
just so you know,
Oh,
the
I'm
numbers that I
sorry.
gave you are very close to the numbers for the smaller grader.
Mhm.
If you
Yeah,
notice that,
Yeah.
they worked really hard to try to bring the numbers down for us. And these guys were rushing around at the last minute trying to get me these numbers for today.
yeah.
And that's why I say I don't think the Cat one's accurate, but
Well, we've got time to check it.
yeah.
Okay, so if you could get that to us before our next meeting, okay, well, if you want to stay around, because we'll let you know as we're scheduling, we'll find out when's convenient for you to come in and do your whole presentation.
Okay,
Because you also have a new zero turn mower, whatever that is.
okay. Yeah, the zero turns,
But you don't have to worry about it now.
okay.
I just wanted to change the business on the grader so people were aware.
Mhm.
Okay, now Bob.
Yeah, Dave, I'm
Yeah.
kind of going to follow up on and expand on what Ellen said. From my standpoint on the finance committee, I like to look at the cost of the two graders, the small and large, both Cat and Deere, and then see the cost of the lease versus the outright purchase, so that we can evaluate those things in the finance committee. Because say, for example, we were in favor of purchasing one of these machines, we would need to look at financing ourselves, financing it through Deere or leasing, and just compare and contrast all those different options. So,
Sure.
and also, you didn't mention is that we had an option on your original letter that you sent to the capital planning of getting the old grader worked on.
Oh, no.
And that's another option which we're going to look at as one of the options available to the town. So that's how I look at it, at least. So really want to evaluate the condition and the viability of that machine with your help, just to put that on the table or on a piece of paper as one of our options here. So if we could just get all that in writing, as Ellen suggested, then we'd be able to really think about this and evaluate your request better, Okay.
Yeah, I will tell you that that original repair bid was a 30-day bid. So whether the prices go up or not, I don't know how much, but that was just to fix the leaking pistons
Ooh.
and the moldboard, and that would be 16,000 up, for the price of fixing those. But you still have an 85 grader
Mm.
with the same gearing, I mean, it's got all the miles on, or the hours on the gears. We don't even know how many hours this machine does have. The meter was broken twice and it's not working now. Anyway, that's just information
Yes,
for you.
I
Yep.
see George having his hand up.
Hi, Dave.
Hi.
Couple questions. Well, I want to make a comment about leasing. I mean, leasing, that could be really helpful to us. I'm glad Bob brought that up and getting the details, but it seems to me that we could probably finance cheaper than a lease because we get municipal rates, but we would have to compare.
Yeah,
And
the
Dave
interest
and
rate,
Ryan,
just so you know, the interest rate on one of them was four something percent. That was,
that's reasonable.
Yeah,
that was the cat, and also the John Deere was around, it was six something.
oh,
Yeah, that's helpful information if you can include that in the documentation.
Yeah, it's in here. I have this.
And the two questions I have is, I mean, these numbers are really big. Obviously, equipment is just, the inflation has gotten so high. When you consider the number of hours that they're used in a year, are there options for contracting to do the work that they do? Um, if we can get a contractor to do the work for $40,000 a year, I'm just throwing numbers out, that may be in our best interest. The other possibility I was also curious to know about, because I know the grader is not necessarily a piece of equipment that's used on a regular basis, like your trucks, your backhoe, and your front end loader. I have a feeling you're using a whole lot more. Would it also make sense to talk to other towns about sharing one and purchasing one together? Does that sound like something's possibility?
That would be up to the town as to whether or not to be willing to do that. Now you've got two towns wear tearing on one vehicle.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, so it depends. Do we have more dirt roads than say Leverett? I don't know. I imagine we do.
Yeah, so that may be,
As far as if that grader that we have now, even if we put $16,000 into it, something could happen to it some shortly down the road. I'm babying this thing right now to get us through until we can get something that will be suitable for our dirt roads.
Yeah, and I'm not questioning the age. I know that's a problem. I know we had to make a FinCom transfer this year, or this year or last. I remember that. I know that it's not in great shape. I'm just trying to look at alternatives. Personally, I was just stunned at the amount of money it costs for a grader. I guess I shouldn't be. I mean, it's a specialized piece of equipment for sure. Only my final question is, what's useful life on those?
Well, I can tell you what the life of the grader that we have has had. We purchased it in 2007 for a total of $72,000. And it was a used grader. And we've had it since 2007. So
not, okay. And didn't it say somewhere that it was in 1985?
it's a 1985 Cat 120G. It's a smaller grader.
40 years old.
The fact that we've gotten this much life out of it is amazing. When you consider the difference between this grader and the newer graders, is this grader doesn't have safety features. When you're grading along and you got the blade down and you hit a piece of ledge, it stops the grader dead, and the grader keeps right on going until you react to it. The John Deere has a clutch system, so that if that happens, it will release the blade so that it doesn't destroy the drive on it. And this I will tell you, this one you can probably count on something going with the drive on this one, just because it's so old and it's been used a lot. It's got a lot of hours on it, and a lot of them aren't even recorded. Does that help?
Yeah, no, that's very helpful. 40 years
You
is
can get a
amazing.
used one. You
Yeah,
can
I would
get-
I was
never.
gonna ask Dave, was used, what's the market for used? If you talk to any of your men there about used equipment?
Basically, a lot of the used ones that I've looked at that are available, I actually got two bids on those. I didn't bring that with me, that information with me. But they were, again, older graders. and they didn't have the safety features that the new ones have. The graders that I'm looking at, the ones that I just recently got the bids for, these are longevity graders. These are graders that'll last the town years, way beyond, my years here. And it will also, it will last the town a long time. I'm just putting that out there. If we bought a used grader and we had it since 07 to 25, imagine what the new grader, how long that's gonna last.
Okay. Dave, thank you very much. And if you'll get that to us, if you want to, as I say, if you want to hang around so we can set a date to formally meet with you, that would be great. If you can't, I'll see you off and on here in the building anyway. Okay, we have the school now. Nate, you had indicated at one point that I don't know if it was the president, or not the president, but the chair of the committee, of the school committee or something, wanted to pull back all these requests.
Yeah, we had a meeting in February, at the beginning of February 13th, I believe. And we talked with Susie Mosier, and I think that we got some information from you. I think it's important to advocate for the driveway. It's had deferred maintenance for about 10 years now.
Yeah.
And it's in pretty rough shape, and it's not going to get cheaper to do this project. Those costs will just go up the more we defer. We can patch those holes, the potholes that the plow digs up, but it's just going to get more expensive. We've looked into the principals looked into an idea of getting a grant for solar panels to put over part of the driveway and have that kind of be a combination solar panel and new driveway. That was rejected due to the trees around the school would have to be cut back significantly to have any viable solar. But it's an important project that I just should advocate for. I was also told to advocate for a new tractor. That was something that was on the list that I didn't put a bid in for. The tractor they have now, they've been able to fix it, keep it going. It's been on the road for decades now. It's kind of at its last leg. It's been able to help out through this season, but they're worried about it. That's a cost of about $30,000 for a new tractor. It's for snow removal on the sidewalks and the back. The current tractor is over 20 years old, and due to the age and the last time it was serviced, it had to go to Vermont and have the wiring redone. So that's something that they've kind of also been in deferred maintenance for quite some time that the school could use.
Okay. Now we're going to need a pretty firm amount on this paving. And I wonder, Dave, while you're here, is there any intent? I imagine there's some intent to do some paving for the town on the roads for the fiscal 26. Am I correct?
I've been holding off on that, getting anything approved ahead of time. Because I wasn't sure if we could use Chapter 90 to help us with the grader.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking in terms of if we had them come in and do that, then they could also hopefully do the school at the same time.
I can tell you right now, Chapter 90 does not cover parking lot.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it doesn't. I wasn't even thinking of using it, but if you only use Chapter 90, okay, forget. It was a good idea while it lasted, but thank you. Yes, Bob.
Nate, we went through this parking lot request a few years ago, and one of the reasons I opposed it was because at that time we hadn't addressed the school roof. We hadn't addressed the other repairs around the school, including grading. We weren't sure whether we were gonna need to excavate the parking lot in order to complete those tasks. So I think that your request to be taken positively by this committee, at least from me. But we do need to get some estimates. We need to get an evaluation of, I was gonna I will work with you on that if you want me to help with that. But we need to find out, for example, what are the scope of the job? Was it gonna rip up the old parking lot? Do we pave over it? We need an expert or some person to come in to bid on it, Warner's or somebody else, or maybe more than one company. So we can get a grip on the cost before we consider it. So I don't know what that means for this year, but I'd be willing to help you try to evaluate that.
Thank you.
This next week, if you're available.
Yeah, I'm available. I'd be happy to get any help. We're just learning. I'm learning as I go. We have a new principal who, I think Jackie was really on it. The old principal with costs and how to do all this paperwork and getting things filed. And our new principal, she's new. So I'm just trying to figure it out. So any help I can get.
I'd be happy to work with you on that, help you get up to speed.
Thank you so much, Bob.
Because I've been doing this for quite a few years now.
Yeah,
and
I know.
I do know the history of the school and that particular issue quite well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think something I notice as a parent who comes and picks up my kid every day, the buses are, with that center island where the kind of septic tank is.
Yeah.
So the buses are driving on that center island at least 4, maybe 5 feet. So they're coming up, they're on their side to avoid the parked cars. This is kind of a new arrangement that they have kind of post-COVID pickup routine. So yeah, I definitely think that the driveway is going to need to be revamped, to be redesigned. It's going to be a big deal. The reservation, my reservation too. I mean, just because we have a new contract for the teachers, it's going to cost us a lot, cost the town some more. So, I definitely am, on the fiscal conservative side of things, and have my concerns about the cost, but I think it's not going to get cheaper. The best time to do this was 10 years ago, and the next best time is now. It's like buying a house, But I think after the roof, the paint job, all these things, this is kind of the final thing to get this school really in tip-top shape.
Yeah, well, good. The price of oil might go down for all we know. Things are so crazy right now.
Right, totally.
We did it 10 years ago, it'd be 10 years old. So that's the good news.
Yeah. Well, the roof was great, and the paint job looks awesome. So I think this is just the next step. So Bob, I definitely would appreciate any help you can.
Well, good.
Give
Send
me.
me your contact, and we'll hook up next week. We'll make a plan.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bob, for your generosity. I take it then that you also had one for antifreeze for the air exchange, and that is not a capital item.
Right. Yeah, we're looking into just kind of getting that through the finance committee. Try to help get that.
That is definitely not a capital item.
I had to do it. I mean, I got to
know.
figure this out as I go, make some mistakes as I go.
Hey, that's okay. We appreciate it. The third thing we have, which is also a big ticket item, maybe not this coming year, but in 27, is the dam at the lake. I had a letter here that I did not fax you. I emailed all of you everything, the whole packet, except I just found this one. He says, he explained to me that the total cost of the design, permitting, and construction are $55,100, and they're hoping to pay for about $13,000 of it through CPA funds. So they're going to put in a proposal to get CPA funds, and the other $41,000 they're hoping to come from a grant from the Mass Office of Dam Safety. They're not sure, of course, whether they'll get that grant. So it's conceivable that we would, I don't know what the deadline is on the grant. I have no information whatsoever on it. But to me, it sounds like that would be what we might have to have available if they don't get the grant, assuming, of course, they're going to get the CPA money. But then next year, when they come to really doing some heavy duty work, that's $150,000. And that's something either if we can find a grant, that'd be wonderful. But if we can't find a grant, then that's gonna probably come before us for 27. So this is,
Ellen, who's proposing, who's making this request?
Mark Rivers, from the Lake Wyola Advisory Committee.
Good.
I sent it all to you.
I didn't
sent you
see
the
that
whole thing.
sponsor on it. I couldn't.
Oh, yeah, contact Mark Rivers
Okay,
on the form. But yeah, that's it. It gave you the description of, it's phase 1, phase 2. So phase 1 might cost us money, might not cost us money, but phase 2 we know, which is 27, is definitely going to cost us money.
well, obviously, someone has spent some money with the engineers already, so where did that?
Yeah, I don't know
Where
where
did
they,
that money come from, I wonder?
I have no idea. Gabe, do you have any idea? Nope.
I can't tell you.
I didn't think you probably would, but
I don't know that there's anything in the budget for that.
No.
So couldn't we use CPA for some of the construction too?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's,
It's not recreation, obviously. How about open space?
but I don't know if you, I don't know.
When I was on the search, when we did the analysis many years ago about whether we should have CPA, if we should even consider joining, having the CPA option, and we ultimately made that decision to do it. I thought dams were something that could fit into an eligible project. And that was one of the things that was appealing to me. So it looks to me like it's not really a question of are we going to recommend it or not. From reading what you had sent, it seems to me like you can't argue with the engineers.
Yeah,
They seem to think we need to deal with those leaks and some of the design, make some design improvements. The stakes and the liability are just too great. Personally, I know around the state, there's a lot of dams that are being eliminated.
yeah.
And I don't think Lake Wyola is a dam that anybody wants to eliminate. I'm
Unless you have a
certain
cottage
that,
down there.
yeah, people in Lake Wyola aren't going to want it eliminated. They don't want the dam taken down. I know that
The
for
state
sure.
wouldn't want it either. Let's face it, it's their beach.
Yes, right, right. So it looks to me like this is going to happen. It has to happen.
Mhm.
So we'll need to look more into the CPA. We should probably reach out to Mateo about that. But I'm hopeful that it will be eligible and that can help us. We have a lot of capital items that we're going to be funding in the next few years. We've got 2 big ones here today
Yeah,
without the dam, and we still got 3 capital items that we haven't even started paying principal on yet.
We got the library.
yeah.
And the library comes in this year, the first interest this year, and then the following year interest and principal. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are struggling to balance the budget.
I'm sure.
It's-
Okay. So now that we've done a brief overview of everything, let's try to set up, if we can, some days, some meeting times when we can invite people in to just spend some time with us, continuing the discussion. Excuse me, I've got to go get my phone, so I have my date book.
Ellen, do we want to schedule this meeting after Michael comes back,
Yes,
his sojourn, or
I think
Yeah,
he is
geez.
coming back next week, if I recall correctly.
I think the 4th, we're going to a selectmen's meeting, and I think Rita's supposed to be present on the 4th, right? Is that right, George?
I don't know. I'm
Right,
actually
Gabe?
not, I don't, we're meeting with the select board on the 4th.
I think somewhere around there.
I didn't realize they were on our agenda for the 4th. Yeah, I don't know. I
They're
don't know.
coming back, the 4th, I
Sixth.
think, the 3rd or the 4th of March,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Monday or
6th, we're
Tuesday.
supposed to go to the meeting.
next week. Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I had understood from,
So the following
somewhere.
week, maybe, would that be convenient, Ellen?
I'm sorry, what?
The following week after. Michael's
Following
back?
week. So are we looking at Thursdays?
That works for me, 13th?
No, just a minute, Bob. Are we looking at Thursdays?
Well, let me ask real quick, Gabe, when's the select board meet? On the 11th? You're mute. You're
Gabe,
muted.
you're muted.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
They're meeting Tuesday, the 11th. They're meeting Thursday night, the 6th of March to interview candidates. You can book those nights on a different Zoom. We have all the licenses
Mhm.
now, so you can still meet that night. You just
Right,
won't
you know, I was thinking about Rita, but it's Mike.
Mhm.
Mike's not going to select.
No,
board.
it's not right.
It's not going to the select board
That
meeting.
was just me being up. I cannot do next Thursday, but I could
Okay.
do pretty much any day the following week.
Well, I know that couldn't have highway on the 12th because Dave has a meeting every Wednesday. I know that because he's been nice enough to tell me. So,
I have a school committee meeting Thursday, the 13th.
oh, that kills that then.
Tuesday the
Okay,
11th,
so what other day can we move it to?
Tuesday the 11th.
Is that clear with
Okay.
everyone?
That works for me. I can do that.
Okay,
Hopefully Bob and I can meet before that and get some
Yeah.
info.
okay, so if we plan for 3/11, who do we want to have in?
Who's gonna be ready? Dave, you gonna be ready?
All depends on the weather.
Yeah, right
You're
next
muted.
week.
Dave, could you come in on the 11th?
Asking me.
Yeah,
Oh,
can you?
I
To
can
meet
try.
with us? I'm sorry.
I can try.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we'll call highway on the 11th.
Okay.
And that's a Tuesday.
Mhm.
And then,
So you're gonna have to use a different Zoom than the one you're using tonight, Ellen, because the select board has booked Tuesday, the 11th from 5 to 7. Unless you guys meet later.
I know Bob likes to have early meetings. Bob, could you make it later?
I could do whatever you guys want. I prefer earlier, but can we just use a different account? Is that,
Yeah, you can use a different
Mhm.
account. I won't be able to help
just-
Ellen, but Ellen can go on. You can use I can have you use one of the other accounts.
Okay,
so want to say 6 o'clock on Tuesday or?
6 o'clock, okay with you, Dave?
Yeah.
Okay, so 3/11, the highway will come in at 6. Or, yeah. Tell you what, make it 6:05 so we can start the meeting.
Yeah, sorry I was late today. The personnel
That-
board meeting got me
That's
hung
okay.
up.
That's okay. Okay, then, so now we have the other two issues. The school. Nate, do you have you of course don't have any feel for when you're going to be able to give us some numbers.
Nope.
We're gonna meet next week and we're gonna see if we can pull something together and then we'll discuss what can reasonably be accomplished in this cycle, you know.
Mhm.
But we'll try to evaluate, me and Nate, and I'll talk to the principal if she's around and see what's what, have a look at the parking lot, have a look at what possibilities and how we can maybe put together an estimate that's, you know, worthwhile. I've got a couple people to call. See you, Dave.
Okay,
Take care,
so,
Dave.
So yeah,
So
so we'll find out and we can, Nate can contact the committee and let us know.
Yeah.
okay, well, once again, though, we have to just kind of figure out when it's good for us.
Well,
And then we
Nate can
also
come up
have,
and tell you what he knows by then anyway, so right, if you're available, Nate.
Yeah, I mean, we could do, if you can tack on the 11th, and if we can get something together next week, Bob, and, you know, we can tack on the 11th, otherwise, you know, the following week, the 18th.
yeah, we could do or how about Thursdays, or do you have school committee every Thursday?
Not every Thursday, but we could do the 20th, you know, I could do the 20th, March 20th, if that works for you guys.
Yeah, let's do the 20th. That gives you more time. Is that convenient for everyone else?
Sure.
Okay, and that's a school. And then, how about the Lake Wyola?
Would that be 6 o'clock on the 20th?
6 o'clock, if it's okay with you.
Yep.
I don't mind 6 o'clock.
Okay.
So are we scheduling a meeting on the 20th now?
Yeah, for the school.
Okay.
Give them a little bit more time. Okay, Lake Wyola.
Well, so what do we got to do about Lake Wyola? If
I don't
it's,
know. I'm just trying to figure out.
we
Well,
just lost, because that came to you via Gabe, right?
Yeah,
And Gabe just dropped off.
yeah, because she had
Um,
another meeting she had to run.
Yeah, yeah, no, I understand.
Do we have a volunteer, George, to call up Mr. Rivers and see what's going on with that and what the status of the grant applications are and all that, or?
Yeah, I guess I was hoping Gabe could give us an update. Well,
I
We
don't
can
know if
always
she
call,
does
you can call,
anymore.
we can call her tomorrow or email her and ask her, you know.
I've been trying to catch up with her anyways, to talk about the budget. I'll do that. I'll follow up with Gabe about that and then maybe contact,
Mark Rivers.
yeah, Mike Rivers, regarding,
Mark. The
Yeah.
thing we have to find out though is can CPA be used for that kind of thing?
yeah, but I will definitely roll that into the questions I have. I missed the point about them wanting to, start to work in 26, but they're probably going to start the design and the permitting before 26. So the first 50,000 they might start spending in the fiscal
I
20.
don't have any idea. I don't know where the first 50,000 came from. Oh, this 50.
Well, I'm confused by the years. This happens to me. So they're thinking the construction work's going to be done in 27.
There's
Yeah.
phase one and phase two. Phase one is the one that's going to be partially paid by CPA and they're hoping to get a grant. And that would pay the whole thing.
That would be awesome, right?
But then the other 150, which is the real big work where they're
Yeah, the
patching the
construction
dam
work.
and all that stuff. That would, because from what he said in his note, they're not even planning it until not next summer, but the summer afterwards, because they got to get this all stuff all done first.
And they're probably gonna have to lower the lake to do that, right?
I imagine they would, and I remember that was a horror last time they lowered the lake. Just in the notification of everybody and everything else.
Yeah, and they're probably not gonna do it in summer. They're probably gonna wait till after Labor Day.
Yeah, but still just a horror anyway.
Yeah, no question, no question. It's a lot of work. Yeah, I'll follow up with Gabe and then talk to, yeah, and then follow up with Mark Rivers and,
Because we need more information, obviously. We need to know
I
when
mean,
we're funding with this request.
Yeah, I'm kind of dismayed that there couldn't be some grant for the big piece. Or maybe they just haven't looked at it.
yeah, I mean, I'll talk to Gabe about what rocks can we turn over to look for money. I mean, the state has a lot at stake with dams because generally dams affect more than one community.
Yep.
It may be in Shutesbury, but it affects 3 communities before it makes it to the Connecticut River. So the state has a real interest in making sure that all dams in our state are safe. So I can't imagine there isn't some sort of help. Didn't we get
And not to
work
mention
was
the
done-
DCR, right? The DCR has stake in it.
Yeah,
Yes.
big stake.
The
Yeah.
state is well known for unfunded mandates, though, George.
Yeah, well, I thought we had a lot of help when we did the construction back
The
in
culvert?
07, 08.
Oh, no. Yeah, I was thinking we had done some not terribly long ago. Was it 07, 08? Yeah, I don't
Yeah, I
know.
thought so. I thought that's what I read in there. I thought it was more recent, but I guess, time
Time
goes by.
flies.
Yes. So, yeah, I'll follow up. I'll call Gabe tomorrow and then I'll probably follow up with Mark Rivers. and
She's
see what
not
kind
in
of
tomorrow.
information.
She's only here on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
She's on, well, that's fine. Okay, I'll catch her Tuesday. That's fine. Yeah, I know she's a hard target.
Yeah.
Well, I can't imagine doing the town administrator job part-time. She must be one busy person. Okay, I will do that, Bob.
Thank you. Thank you very much, George. And so then, let us know as soon as you know anything. So, and, see if we can set a date for somebody from the Lake Wyola Association to come in on this issue.
Yes.
Okay, so the next meeting, it looks like it's Tuesday, 3/11 at 6 o'clock for the highway. Okay, then let's see, according to our agenda, is there any other business that has not within the last 48 hours come up? No.
I just want to say, Nate, I'll send you an email with my contact information. Okay.
Thanks so much, Bob. I really appreciate your help here. Thanks. Take care.
Okay. Okay, so,
right.
can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion. to
I
adjourn.
second it.
All in favor?
Arvin's aye.
Groves, aye.
Okay, aye.
Okay, see you on the 11th.
Yeah, we'll see you the
Good night.
11th.
Take care.
Have a good day.
You too.